Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take about how's Biden doing? How's Biden doing today? You know, like during Trump, it was so much fun analyzing all the crazy stuff Trump would say and do, and it was usually good. And this is the total opposite. This is just depressing and weird and horrible every day. Biden falls down the stairs, lands on his face, and the media goes, "Oh, bravo, bravo." Right, Joan? Oh, now you're going to sleep. Now you barked through the whole first segment. Now you go to sleep on me. Advisor Anita Dunn. Joe Biden can be bipartisan without GOP lawmakers. No, he can't. That's literally impossible. Joe Biden can be old and young. Joe Biden can be a uniter and a divider. I mean, what is this? I mean, at least learn the double speak. Uh, this isn't even double speak. They're not even bothered to hide their contempt for anybody. Joe Biden can be bipartisan without GOP lawmakers. Oh, you mean you could provide unity by simply ignoring the other side? That's unity. No, that's not unity. No, that's not bipartisan. Bipartisan means two. If you cut out one and it's just one party, that's not bipartisan. But this is the world we live in now. Thanks, Biden voters, you idiots. Anita Dunn, advisor to the president Joe Biden, believes Democrats can reach bipartisan goals without working with GOP lawmakers in the House and Senate. No, they can't. They're not bipartisan goals by definition if you cut them out. CNN ran an analysis on Biden's, quote, rare opportunity for early success. Oh, I'm sure that was a wonderful segment. In the first days of his administration on Sunday, citing the, quote, emerging alignment of forces holds the promise of two giant early legislative breakthroughs in the form of economic and beer virus relief legislation. You mean more taxes and more free money. Biden is just, I mean, he's worse than I ever imagined. It's like every day it's another nightmare with this guy. But you know, unlike people on the left, I'm not crying about it. The guy just needs to be impeached. And for that, we need to take back the House and Senate. So good luck in 2022. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken orders LGBT flags flown at U.S. embassies will name special envoy for gay rights. Now, you want to talk about virtue signaling? I'm sure this flag ain't flying at the Saudi Arabian embassy or at a bunch of other embassies where they don't like gay people. This is another example of the United States pushing their culture on other cultures. On the one hand, you hear leftists say, oh, you can't ban people from traveling here. You can't have cultural appropriation. You can't say negative things towards people of other cultures. Can't say you don't like them. Oh, but we can push our culture onto them. This isn't going to go down well in a lot of countries. Now, that doesn't mean, you can't fly the flag, I guess, but understand what the embassy is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the diplomatic arm of the United States. You're supposed to, talk to those other states and kind of convince them of, the things you want them to do, especially with regarding human rights. Somehow, I don't think you're doing this at the Chinese embassy. Somehow, I don't think you're pushing very hard on the Chinese, who are literally putting people into concentration camps, torturing them, removing their organs, and forcibly raping them. So, what is this? Well, this is a virtue signal. This is a giant virtue signal. And there can only be negative consequences to it. Because the countries that adore this symbolism already will suck the toes of the United States. The countries that don't will be annoyed by it and will have to explain to their populace why they're putting up with it. So now the Saudis have to explain to the locals why they're allowing this. That ain't, the explanation will not be good enough. And I suspect strongly that they won't even fly it at the Saudi Arabian embassy, simply because they just don't want to piss them off. But we'll see. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll just put it in a place where nobody can see it. But this really has little to do with the day-to-day operations of the United States. I know, leftist. How can you say that? There are gay people everywhere. Yes, there are. But that's not the forefront of what an embassy does. They're supposed to protect all Americans in foreign countries. They're not supposed to put the gay ones ahead of the line. So, this is a weird thing to do. And to have a special envoy for gay rights, it's wokeness exported to other countries. They're going to get very irritated by this. And it's not our place to tell people in other countries, you have to accept gay people, LGBTQ people the way we accept them. It's not our place to do that. Their culture is their culture. They get to run it. You may not agree with it, and that's fine, but part of accepting other cultures is to accept that they have other things going on. And know that what the Chinese do to the Uyghurs is not culture. So, there have always been gay people around. There were gay people in the United States before there were any gay rights. They weren't hunted down in the street. They were just, they were handled in a different way. Now, it may have been a way you don't agree with 100%, but other countries are not up to speed on that issue. So this is a dumb thing that's only going to cause lots of problems for the United States. But I'm not surprised. I mean, this is a total. Here's a bone, leftist. Whoa, we're flying the gay pride flag at all our embassies now. It's something they can do and not really do anything for gay rights. Jen Psaki, I treat reporters like I'm, quote, an orderly in an insane asylum. The drop down from Kayleigh McEnany to this woman is massive. She looks constantly overwhelmed, this woman. Does not look like she can handle the press corps. And for her to say that she treats the reporters, who are on her side, by the way, they're totally on the Democrats' side, 90% of them. And she can't handle a couple of the mild questions she got. I mean, now, in her defense, Biden painted himself into a corner with a lot of different quotes, including this one about executive orders, how only dictators use executive orders, and now he's just signing them every other day. But you think Jen would have come up with a response for that. Well, But she didn't really have a good one. And she's just been tanking it every day. And the latest thing was, well, let me show you the next one. The Circle Woman, Jen Psaki, under fire with constant pledges to circle back on tough questions. Because somebody on the internet made a supercut of her saying, let's circle back to that. And then one time when she finally did circle back, she flipped through all her notes and couldn't find the note. So she just looked terrible. Kayleigh McEnany was on it every day. She was way better at this than Psaki here. So what are you going to do? She's about as good as Biden is a president right at this point. I think they're just going to sack her at some point and get somebody else. But, she just doesn't seem to have any answers, looks uncomfortable on top of the podium, and that's despite that most of the people in the room are on her side. I mean, Jesus, when they're basically waiting for you to give them a couple of sound bites in your favor and you still can't do it, you really suck at your job. U.S. warns it will take action as Myanmar military coup declares 1 year state of emergency. When I heard this, my first thought was, we almost had that. um, but now the Biden administration has finally found a country that can maybe bomb back into the Stone Age in an attempt to give it democracy. I think that would be a terrible idea. You know, I don't think it's a great idea. They had a military coup, but and that, by the way, is an actual insurrection. Um, you know, but there's no way we should get involved in this. It's their country. Let them work it out. They're having problems. Although someone posted online that this country did use Dominion voting systems in their voting machines. I don't know if that's true, but it's pretty funny if it is. Funny and kind of sad. So yeah, don't get involved in this, Biden. But quite frankly, it's a perfect situation. It's big enough country you could have a war, but small enough you can end it whenever you need to. And it's a country we don't yet occupy and run, so have at it. I'm sure this will be the next place to bomb. House bill would require psych test liability insurance for gun ownership and implement a mass retroactive registry. Democrats continue to chisel away at the Second Amendment by tacking on conditions for gun ownership. And this sounds like a good idea, but what it basically would do is, it's called the Sabika Sheikh Firearm Licensing and Registration Act, named after Sabika Sheikh, a 17-year-old Pakistani foreign exchange student who was among the 10 students and staff killed in a high school shooting in Texas in 2018. By the way, this bill would do nothing to stop a shooting like that, because shootings like that happen all the time by registered gun owners who their kids get into their gun cabinet, and there you go. The legislation would require any gun owner to provide make, model, and serial number of the firearm, the identity of the owner of the firearm, the date the firearm was acquired by the owner, and where the firearm is or will be stored. See, they got to know exactly where your gun is. And then you have to notify them if you loan the gun out or give it to another person within 3 months or something. It's ridiculous. And it reminds me of what Sargon of Akkad always says about Democrats is they want a massive bureaucracy. They want to put paper and people between you and everything you do, including owning your own gun. So you don't really own it. You have to go through jump through all these hoops just to loan your gun to a guy, a friend at a shooting range, or use a gun at all, or transport it. I mean, New Jersey, if you transport your gun the wrong way and get pulled over by the cops, you're in big trouble. Like, you could get a felony rap if you don't have the gun stored and properly in your trunk and have all the right paperwork. I mean, it's ridiculous. On the opposite end of that, I had a friend who was a cop, and he had an assault rifle and a bunch of guns, which he would leave in his apartment, just sprawled out all over the place, which he sometimes left his apartment unlocked. I'm not kidding about that. He used the assault rifle basically as a doorstop at some point. And finally, something we already all knew. Busted. CDC inflated beer virus numbers accused of violating federal law. Now, this is being covered by National File, which again, I don't know. They seem to be okay as a news source, but they're not very big. So what are you going to do? But the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention stands accused of violating federal law by inflating beer virus fatality numbers, according to a stunning information obtained by National File. It was a study published by the Public Health Initiative of the Institute of Pure and Applied Knowledge. So, yeah. It was authored by Henry Ely, Michael McEnvoy, Daniel Chung, John Nowicki, Monica Sava, Sandeep Gupta. I wonder if that's related to Sanjay Gupta. Although Gupta is I think that's a common Indian last name. David White, James Jordan, Daniel Simon, and Paul Anderson. CDC is now legally requiring red-blooded Americans to wear face masks on public transportation, and as globalists try to push the concept of double masking on the populace, see, it's a national file. But basically, they're saying, they're tying this into the PRCs that they dropped from the test, and saying that the inflation rate could have resulted in a 1,600% inflation of the fatality totals. Yeah, I've been saying this for months and months and months. These guys have over-reported the beer virus deaths. They've reported people dying from the beer virus who either just had, oh my God, this is the new testing method in China. This is on a mannequin, by the way, YouTube, so don't flag me for this. So this is going to be the butt swab you're going to get at the airport. And look at the dummy. It looks like he's dressed in a prisoner uniform, doesn't it? The whole mannequin. It's a bad mannequin, too. Better a bad mannequin for this test. See, is he actually going to do it? Oh, my God. He's pulling down the mannequin's pants, and he's going to butt swab him. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with flying if this happens. There's no way I'm getting this. There's no way. Oh, he stuck it up the mannequin's butt. Yep, this is what you have to look forward to. The butt swab. This is the testing in Chinese airports. Yeah, I think the Chinese, I seriously think the Chinese says, what else can we do to demoralize the West? Let's tell them that only a butt swab can be accurate. Let's push the butt swabs. Because they don't care about demoralizing their own people. They're so corrupt. I mean, if you don't want to take the beer virus test and you're a Communist Party guy or a guy with money or a guy with sway in the CCP, you're not taking it. You'll probably never take it. Because you'll probably just say, I don't feel like it. Like everybody else, you'll take it when you get sick to see if you actually have it. So yeah, I mean, this article is basically revealing what we already suspected, or at least what I suspected just from the numbers in New Jersey. They've been inflating the numbers. They had reason to. They incentivized it from the hospitals. They gave them more money if they had a beer virus case. They wanted to keep the numbers up while Trump was president. Now that he's not, they want the numbers to go down. See how that works? See how that works? Now we want the numbers to go down, and so they will. And if you actually get the beer virus, when they're trying to, say, oh no, we don't see the beer virus now. No, that's gone. Oh, but I think I have the symptoms. Oh no, go home, you're fine. That's what's going to happen to this. It's all fading away because they don't need it anymore. Unless they need to force some kind of passport on you or some kind of more, again, bureaucracy on you. Whether it's a passport that will monitor your bodily functions, electronically through your phone, or a special piece of paper you'll need to get from your doctor to go anywhere so people can't travel quickly. Oh, but other people will. Remember when the TSA was a thing and everybody was up in arms about it? Now everybody sort of accepts it. Well, now you can get pre-screened. If you travel all the time, you get pre-screened. You just have to pay the money. And I predicted that too. I said eventually, rich people, they're going to breeze through. Everybody else is still getting searched. Because the rich eventually don't put up with this nonsense. They say, that must be something I can do here. Oh, Senator, I don't like being searched. I don't like waiting in line to have my luggage searched. I'm a good citizen. We all are. Yeah, and they make it convenient for the rich. So they get pre-screened because they pay a bunch of extra money and they get pre-screened. and they can go their merry way. They walk right through the security check because they're pre-screened. Even though that's completely, by their own standards, totally unsafe. Because what do you think the next hijackers will do? Oh, they'll get pre-screened. Or they'll get the paperwork. They'll get some phony paperwork to show that they're pre-screened. Just like people will get phony paperwork or phony software to show that they don't have anything. You create this bureaucracy and then people rig it. Because who the hell wants to deal with this? Because criminals don't care about the law. And by turning everybody into a criminal and making everything super inconvenient. So if you follow the rules, you'll go crazy trying to follow them, and you'll spend all this money. Or you'll eventually break and just go, F it. I'm going to buy a pre-screen pass and a pre-screen travel voucher or whatever. And I get caught, I get caught. And then, if you get caught and they don't like you, it's off to jail you go. Oh, but if they like you, if you have the right politics, like Antifa, when they needed them, oh, we'll just overlook it. For now. Until we need to throw you in jail. So that's the plan. The plan is to make everybody a criminal, but not put anybody in jail until they feel like it. You see the plan? Thanks, Biden voters.